This review is dedicated to the memory of the recently deceased director Joel Schumacher, and it's his 1993 film Falling Down, starring Michael Douglas and Robert Duvall. Michael Douglas plays Robert Foster, aka Defense, which was what was on his license plate. A man who appears to be walking home who gets disgusted after being stuck in a traffic jam in a car with no air condition working, and it really captures the frustration of that. And Robert Duvall plays a police officer who's on his last day on the job and is constantly getting nagging phone calls from his wife. Michael Douglas, this was a great role for him. One of his best, easy, in fact. His father, Kirk Douglas, even stated he thinks this is Michael's best work. And this character, he's a character you shouldn't like, you really shouldn't be rooting for, even though there's certain scenarios where you can't help but be on his side, but he plays the character in such a way that you still can't help but feel sorry for him. We find out he's not walking home, he's walking to his ex-wife's to see his daughter on her birthday. There's an estranged marriage, and as we find out, he's become more unstable over time and she's scared of him. His first part of the misadventure comes at a convenience store. He wants money to make a phone call. The store owner, and funny enough, I was disappointed by this scene because it was banned in Korea. And once I saw how mild the scene was, I couldn't understand why. The store owner doesn't want to make change. He buys a drink and the store owner doesn't give him enough change. So he gets into a fight with the store owner, even grabs his baseball bat from him, opens up the cash register, puts money in, and takes the same amount of change out. And there's like a funny scene where the store owner's a at the police station, and like the police are just not really taking it seriously because they're like, you mean to tell me he forced your register open, put a couple dollars in, and took the same amount in change? And then later on, in another scene where I've been there, walking a hole in the sole of my shoe, and it perfectly captures the frustration when two gangbangers go after him, and he fights them and runs them off with the bat. And again, you see, he does turn violent, but he doesn't go excessive. He runs these guys off. He gets the money out of the register. Later, he gets shot at by the gangbangers and he gets their guns. He shoots the last surviving one in the leg because others got killed in a car wreck, and walks off, and we get the great scene at this restaurant that's a thinly veiled McDonald's where he flips out because they don't have breakfast anymore. He's like 1 minute too late, shoots at the ceiling, finally orders a burger, and again, he's not robbing the place. He even has to about beg them, no, take my money, I'm a paying customer. And then he harps on the fact that the burger doesn't look like what's on the picture, which it never does. So it's a great, again, a kind of relatable scene, and it's dialed up to 11. It's a tragic character because anybody can be in this situation under the wrong circumstances. At this point, Robert Duvall's figuring out, wait, there is this guy on the loose, and his wife is actually having cops come to check on the house because she knows he's coming, and she's scared of him. And the film persists with that. He'll have some kind of altercation, like it's even funny when the news of the fast food restaurant incident gets to the police station and they're like, wait, he what? He waved a gun around and he still paid for his meal? Like, the cops just don't know what to make of these reports. And later, the part where he does cross the line, but it's not that this wasn't a deserving person. He goes to get new shoes at a military surplus store, and the guy takes him in the back And this guy's a Nazi. He was being derogatory to two other people in the store. And there was even a scene before that where a cop came in looking for him, and he's like, I'd never seen that guy. And this guy, he hands him a can that once had Zyklon B in it. For those of you that don't know what it is, that's what Hitler used to gas people in the concentration camps. When he shows this to defense Robert Foster, you immediately see the look of disgust on his face. We've actually find out later on, but Robert Foster was someone that worked in the defense industry for years and got laid off. He's a man that tried to do everything right, tried to work his hardest, and everything failed for him, and that's where his frustration and his more violent tendencies come from. Again, like I said, you can't help but feel sorry for this character, and after there's an altercation, it leads to him shooting and killing the store owner, which is the only, like, deliberate person that he actually kills in the movie. We even see later on when he crosses over a golf course, he gets mad because the guy swings a golf ball at him, and he shoots a shotgun in the air, scaring the guy into having a heart attack. Again, he didn't mean to hurt this guy or kill him, but he just wanted to scare him. But when he sees the guy's having a heart attack, the guy has no remorse. The golf cart even rolls into the lake where the guy's pills are, and defense just gloats and rubs it in that, yeah, you're going to die, and you're going to die wearing that stupid hat. And we can see he doesn't realize how far he's gone. At this point, he even had a conversation with his ex on the phone, talk about how he's past the point of no return now. And why this is going on, we have more great stuff with Robert Duvall and his partner. Those two characters have a great chemistry. She's even like, she's basically telling him at points, it would be wrong for you to retire now. His story, I like the culmination where he stands up to his wife, then stands up to a guy in the office, and, no, I know this Foster guy's dangerous. I'm going after him now. Who's with me? Unfortunately, he had already turned his gun in at this point, and we get another scene where Foster cuts through a private development, cuts his hand on barbed wire, and there's this family having a picnic, and they're, like, scared of him, and he's holding the daughter's hand, and he's visibly troubled when he sees these people are scared, and he's, like, reassuring, especially the kid, I'm not gonna hurt you, which tells me, at least this is my headcanon, he wasn't gonna kill his wife and daughter. I mean, his ex and his daughter. He ultimately gets there. She runs to the dock before he gets to the house, and he's watching a home movie, and he's holding his daughter's toy squirt gun, and you can see in this home movie the anger in him coming out, and there's a moment where he has a moment of regret where he's starting to realize what he's become. And then Robert Duvall's character shows up. It leads to a scene where his partner gets shot. He tells the neighbors, call, there's an officer down, and he has to take her gun to go after defense. And why then we have a tense scene between her, him, and the daughter. And then Robert Duvall actually comes up with popcorn, doesn't draw his gun, and starts talking to him. And he tells Foster, because at this point he found out his backstory, he tells him what his life's been like, and he's like, look, I get it. Life dealt you a trash hand. It's dealt me a trash hand too. I fully understand where you're coming from, but just because life dealt you that trash hand does not give you the right to do what you did today. And he's starting to get through to him, and then he hears sirens, and it comes with a scene where his ex throws the gun off the pier, and he's got his gun trained, and he's trying to talk Foster. Let me take you in. Let me take you in. You can still see your daughter grow up. And he's like, no, I still have a gun. And he's like, worst case scenario, I shoot you and kill you. Best case scenario, you shoot me and kill me, and my daughter gets my life insurance, which I believe one way or the other, he was planning to die at the end of the day. He had got his daughter a present that the guy at the store destroyed, and he just wanted to see his daughter and his ex one last time while he was still alive, because that was the only way he could think to provide for his daughter was life insurance. Robert Duvall shoots and kills him, and we see he just had the squirt gun. Now, if the police hadn't showed up and snapped him out of calming down, I think Robert Duvall's character not only would have talked him down, but because Robert Duvall's character comes across as very compassionate, I can see Duvall's character actually checking in on Foster, why he would have, because he would have obviously have been sent to some state-sanctioned mental hospital, and I could see Duvall's character checking up on him and forming a friendship with him, and even keeping an eye on his ex and his daughter. But sadly, that wasn't meant to be. Probably another great standout scene I didn't mention in the review. There's after he leaves the Army Navy store, and I'm just mentioning it now because I would be remiss if I left this great scene out. He's frustrated over this construction job that was what caused a traffic jam, and he has this rocket launcher he took from the store. This kid actually, I've seen it on movies. He tells him how to use it, and he wants to shoot the crane, but he accidentally fires it down the tunnel, and there's a moment where you think it's going to be a dud, but it blows up under the street, and it's a hilarious scene. And again, it shows where he's not a horrible person. Again, he does not even try to do anything bad to this kid. He just wants to make a point about, because he believes that there was really nothing wrong and they were just spending money on the budget they needed to spend, which was another great scene. This character he played is a strangely relatable character. The directing and cinematography are phenomenal. This is one of the best films Joel Schumacher ever put onto screen, and for my money, I would call it Michael Douglas's best performance. He plays a character who's not necessarily a good person anymore, but someone you can relate to and even feel sorry for him. Even after he crosses the line and kills a man, you still want to somehow see him have the happy ending. And I even seen that in the final interaction before he gets shot and killed, in that whole scene where Robert Duvall's talking to him and they're going back and forth. It's almost as if Robert Foster, a part of him, actually wants a friendship with this man, because it's finally someone that understands where I'm coming from. I can't recommend this film enough. It's entertaining, but it's also thought-provoking. A lot of people responded to it the way some people have seemed to have responded to the recent Joker movie. Haven't seen it and don't plan on it because I'm just burnt out on comic book films, but I have seen those two films compared a lot. But Falling Down is a A-plus movie. It's a classic from the 90s, and it just captures a lot of relatable things, even having to make a long walk in the heat. Most of us have either been there or have come this close to being in that situation. So if you haven't seen it, it's a must-see. So don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Over and out.